So we do have a couple people backstage here. We do have Sloppy Steaks with some gifts we'll be doing tonight. We also have Johnny Jakes we're going to bring in, and also Sun Devil Rogue. But first, let me please go ahead and bring in Dr. Eyeball just for about 5 to 10 minutes, just to touch some base, see how he's doing, man. And we're just going to discuss a little bit, and then we will move on to the show. Other than that, it's great to have you guys tonight, ready to have a fantastic night. So chat, please give a, we also have Plur backstage too. We'll move on to Plur 2 as well. Plur, just sit backstage just for a moment. We're about to bring in Dr. Eyeball. Tyler says Dr. Eyeball is real. Yes, he is, man. All right. So let's go ahead and welcome Dr. Eyeball. Chat, please give a warm welcome to Dr. Eyeball.
Hey
Dr.
there, how you
Eyeball.
doing?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Oh, not too much. I'm just put the kids down for the evening. Got a lot of time, clicking around on my phone, and I
Cool.
got chatting in the PP Show Discord.
Yeah.
I'm excited to actually, finally chat with you.
Yeah. First time you've been on the show. I gotta say, man, love the subreddit. I'm sure you know I started making the meme videos there. Love everything you guys do, man. I think the community as a whole has really grown since I've joined, back in August. But I wasn't around when, there was still only a couple hundred to 1,000 people, like Whoop Ass and others like that. But man, the sub has really come together over the last year plus, I'd say. What do you think, Dr. Eyeball? I mean, what's the kind of sentiment that you kind of view on a day-to-day running the Bed Bath BBBY subreddit?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I mean, given the equity value and the events, I mean, just the events of this entire company over the last year have been so freaking crazy,
Yeah.
and interesting and controversial. We've moved goalposts and mised about speculative ideas and tinfoil and all sorts of interesting discussions, have just been kicked around, week to week. But I mean, I think that overall, like, the community as a whole, like, has stuck together very well. And I don't know, like, it's been very exciting, and I feel like we're kind of on precipice of some big events this month. I like seeing, like, a lot of bullish discussion, on the Reddit board and on Discord, but I also very much welcome, bearish discussions and the, alternative, outlooks there as well. Like, just with the section that we've seen, I never really expect ever to be here. But if some of these speculative ideas actually come to fruition, I mean, would be crazy, just extremely explosive for the shareholder.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, for people that have been watching this over the last year, it's been a lot. I mean, as you know, you've been there about as long as I have.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of it. I've been there for the Elvis DD, man, the fucking Dragonfly stuff, the icon pick. I mean, you could fucking name it, man. I've seen it, We've been through quite a bit of tinfoil, like you say. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of fucking weird routes, man, but the DD writers, the tinfoil writers, I do feel like they're onto something, man, because they spend a lot of time looking at this, and I'd be very shocked if we didn't head through some form of like a buyout, some form of MA, especially considering this like weird instance in court with Holly Etlin and the guy representing 14% of the bondholders. I mean, it's just so bizarre,
There's so much bizarre shit. It's outstanding. When the whole Teddy books came out and everything, and the ideas started formulating about this, I always had kind of looked at that kind of sideways, More recently, though, I think that there could be something there. I had always from day one, like if you look at my my Reddit post history, I thought that a financially sponsored spinoff of Baby was really the key here, but they were unable to do that because of the restrictive covenants
Right.
through the course of time. And I was crossing my fingers and hoping that come January they were had done something to relinquish this to pass this restrictive payments test. But yeah, I would kind of expect that in this bankruptcy proceeding, we're kind of there. And I think that this idea of a reverse merger or backflip merger, acquisition or whatever the hell we're going to call it, it's going to look something odd like that. But Bed Bath as a whole, a parent company, in my opinion, is probably going to exist to merely be the parent business of this subsidiary, for tax purposes. I'm kind of struggling in my mind, like where that part of the business fits in, just yet. And I guess I'm kind of hoping over the next month we'll figure out the details there, as these auction transactions come to close. But yeah, that's kind of my going thesis at this point.
And for instance, I mean, you do think it's bizarre, right? Holly Etlin's saying that the company's worth $5 billion, yet they're selling IPs for less than 100 million.
Oh yeah,
so fucking.
But there's been
nothing's made sense, man.
that put it up on the board with all the other shit that's bizarre about this whole past year. I don't know.
Yeah. So are you comfortable discussing your position, or would you rather keep it on the DL?
Yeah, I've posted that online. I mean, I have some June 2025 call options at 50 cents, and I've got like 145,000 shares.
Wow.
So
145K. Yeah. What's the cost basis, man?
I just bought 45,000 shares today, so I don't know what my new cost basis is. I think it was like 58 cents before that.
Oh man, that's great. So you're gonna be down like probably closer to 40 cents.
Probably.
Excellent, man. Well, shit. I guess let us know some thoughts, man. What you're thinking heading into next week, heading into the rest of the Bye Bye Baby bid, or the auction. Let's hear it, man. There's 377 people here. You moderate a subreddit with over 66,000 members, man. Congratulations. If there's anything you want to say, let's hear it, man. Now's the time to do so.
Yeah. I guess two things with that being said. One, like if this company exists long term, the equity has value, way more value than its current price point. There's a lot of tinfoil out there about what's the total share outstanding, what's the float. I don't think we're going to get definitive answers there until the end of the month for whatever transaction transpires, because if it ends up being somebody else, these convertibles, and that's part of the deal, things are going to be way different. If if the bond hold, or if it's a group, there's so many variables there we don't know. We really just don't know. But I guess at the end of the day, I don't feel like this company is just going to late and vanish. And I think if you are a long-term shareholder, you're going to very likely rewarded. But as you said it from starting the stream, like I don't want to be viewed as an expert. I'm a regular person. I don't have extensive financials. This is my opinion. But yeah, I'm have been in this, remain in this, and will continue to be because of that. And I also think we've got a really great community. I think that there's some people that are.
I think we're losing you there, Dr. Eyeball. Are you there? I think we may have lost him. We can't hear you, Dr. Eyeball. We heard you. That you have a great community. And
I might be back.
I think we may have lost you there. Are you still there?
Yeah. Can you hear
Oh,
me?
there we go. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
yeah, I think we do have an excellent community. There's a ton of very intelligent people. There's a
Yep.
ton of people that are just good human beings. Of course, there's also a lot of bad apples, which goes hand in hand along the way with a controversial company. And just kind
Mhm.
of bashing a meme stock that's popular for many reasons. Um, as the moderator of BBY, I don't know. I'm just trying to be reasonable. I'm not looking to render a ton of bans or convey a particular message of my own. I'm trying to let people have their own voice. We work with people who we think are controversial or are being bad. But
Yeah.
during popular times, you have to understand, like there can be hundreds of reports per day we got to thumb through. And the Reddit, I got a freaking full-time job, 3 kids at home. I coach a freaking little league team. Like I'm not going to be getting on my computer looking through a long list of comments and try to figure out like what's the context of this particular comment.
Right. Yeah.
We might look through somebody's comment history and scroll like really briefly, but so I guess if there's anybody out there that feels like wronged by me or us or whatever, we're willing to work with whomever if you're a reasonable person.
Yeah, so and I see some people in the chat here saying how many of us are banned from the BBBY sub, and you guys can reach out to Dr. Eyeball and the mods, man. Like if you were fucking banned, right? I mean, you guys have always been really great with that kind of thing. If someone gets banned, I mean, if someone reaches out to you guys, if they're polite and they're not obviously not fucking chills, GM meltdown, shit like that, obviously they are, there's a process to it, right, Dr. Eyeball?
Yeah, it's just basically a messaging process. They're
Yeah.
when somebody's banned, they get a message saying, "Hey, you've been temporarily banned for X number of days. Here's a comment why." Sometimes no comments provided.
Right.
Depending on what mod is doing that. But if somebody wants to send us a message for whatever reason, they can just scroll to the sidebar and click that little envelope button and start a conversation. But if somebody's like sending a message back and like, "Oh, you guys are fucking assholes," and
Yeah.
blah blah blah. Hey, again, I've got a life. I'm not like gonna start arguing.
Reginald says, "Eyeball, can I post a dick pic?" It's a quick way to get banned, man, for sure from the sub.
Yes, yeah. Somebody posted something today actually that
Oh
was like
yeah.
somebody was like upside down naked and getting their balls punched by a boxer or something, and it was
Oh god.
immediate permaban. You're like, oh, what's that? That was not a not safe for work thing.
All right. Well, I'm sure you guys have to deal with a lot all day. I can't even believe you guys have to deal with upside down naked people getting their nuts slapped around, man. But Dr. Eyeball, we loved having you on the show, man. Love that you took the time to come on, and I'm sure a lot of people appreciate maybe hearing, from someone who is basically moderating the top sub. So loved having you here, man. Love what you do, and love the community, man. So
Yeah, anytime. You have a
all
good
right.
one.
All right, you heard it from Dr. Eyeball. Thanks for coming on. All right, let's go ahead and bring in some other guests, man. That was cool. Dr. Eyeball, man, I've always been a big fan, always wanted to interview him on the PP show. So happy we finally got to do that, man.